Amigas y amigos de Metalópolis, ¿cómo están? Hoy estamos estrenando un nuevo formato aquí en nuestro podcast, una video entrevista con una banda súper exitosa y súper interesante proveniente del Reino Unido. Vamos allá a platicar con Tesseract. Están los 5 integrantes de la banda. Espero que lo disfruten. So guys, welcome to Mexico. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
On Metalópolis. So I always start by asking, how do you feel about being back here in Mexico City? How do you like Mexico in general?
Love it.
Love it, yeah.
Third time we've been here. It's always a beautiful place to be. Absolutely adore the food. The food is so good. But the people as well, like everyone that comes out to the shows, the people that we get to meet are just so energetic and friendly and fun. We love it.
Excellent, excellent. So you're very welcome here. So now I want to ask you, you are a very well-known gent prog band, right? Metal band. So why did you choose this genre? Why did you end up in this style of music?
Because of Meshuggah.
Because of Meshuggah?
Yeah.
Why is that?
They started it, Apple ripped them off.
We all, pretty much.
No, we yeah, that's right, that's very correct.
Right. So just, you wanted to copy Meshuggah and that's it.
I didn't know what gent even was. I don't even think anyone knew what gent was. I think it was born on the back of a band like Meshuggah, actually doing something new and fresh with what they were doing. We like certain sounds and other bands popped up around that time, like Textures for example, and we just all fell in love with the sound, and I think we naturally fell into that circuit.
Excellent. And you're also kind of pioneers in that, so that's also very
yeah, it's a weird one that, it was, we didn't have any idea. We were just writing music that was new and exciting to us. I mean, obviously there was the forefathers of this progressive metal world, but we never dreamt that it would be a subgenre that would grow from what we were doing with other peers like Periphery and Chimspan and Monuments obviously came alongside after First Island. So it feels odd to be a part of that, and sometimes I think we forget that we were part of a new scene that developed, which is it's a good one.
Great, excellent. So about your most recent album, War of Being, this came with an homonymous song and an amazing video clip that I really loved. Really, with all the samurais fighting. So how was this video made? How could you even accomplish making that video? And who animated that video clip?
So we worked with Found Format, which are a couple of guys that are based in Milwaukee, in the United States.
Okay.
I actually produced a couple of videos with them for my own music and different projects, and we were looking for some video developers. So I naturally suggested them to work with them before, and they actually worked on a previous video called King from Sonda. We loved the guys. They were very proactive, very creative, and we had some big visions for this, and Moss had a great vision for this. And we approached them and said, how possible would it be to create CGI and movie and performance for like a big 12-minute song? I think initially they were quite shocked with the idea, but we explored it, and they actually had some good contacts in that world of animations, and it took us a good 2 years of chatting on that.
Easily. Yeah, because we started with a lot more like a movie, basically, maybe even 2 or 3 movies worth of ideas.
Yeah.
And then we found out that was terrifying people. They look at this and they go, I can't, this is too much.
Yeah.
Which is probably very indicative of everything that Tesseract is. So,
Right.
This huge block of energy and ideas. So that led us down the path of creating one image. And from that one image, Kai and Stephen, the directors, they did what we do, which is take one seed and then build a world from it. And that was really, really cool because the image had the tone, the atmosphere, and the story all within this just simple still picture. And then they created that well from it. And you know, it's definitely not where we imagined things going, but that's the beauty of working with other people. You discover new things about your own creations that excite you, or they understood what you put on paper in a way that you didn't realize. That when you listen to the way they talk about it, it's like a paradigm shift of not only your understanding but also your thought processes. And you sometimes realize that a lot of what you're doing is subconscious, or at least to me. You don't really appreciate that you're talking about certain elements and certain things. It was really nice to be in the scenario with found format films, to go from the beginning to the end and be so involved in the process that the journey was epic. You know, it was like our Lord of the Rings.
It's epic. That's it. That's the best word to describe it, I'd say. So this question is for Akko mainly. So you have now 5 albums, most of them that came up of your mind mainly, right? So how would you describe the evolution of your sound from that first one album to now with Worth Being?
I was thinking earlier, it's not been forced. Usually when I write, I try not to force it. It's like Moss was saying with the video, it's usually pretty subconscious. The best results usually come when you're just in the flow and you're not trying to force things. Also tone-wise, like a lot of the first couple of albums had a lot of the Milton Cleans kind of tone, sparkly, clean sound. There's less of that on the newest album, probably because I rinsed it and got a bit fed up with it. So there's a lot of just trying to experiment with new sounds. Really. So, Milton Cleans. Just experimenting with tonage. It's fun, but also can yield. Just experimenting with tones is a way of just sort of writing as well, so you can kind of get lost down a rabbit hole, which can be a way to kind of write riffs or melodies.
Right.
I think we've been through different seasons as well. Like with the first album, it was quite heavy. With the second album, Altered State, was very progressive. With Sonder, the whole thing changed again. And I think we were listening to lots of progressive artists at the time. And I guess the sound softened a little bit, but was still interesting enough in its musicality. And then with Polaris, that was very much a completely different sound altogether. You know, that was basically an album of songs rather than a concept. It was the only album that we've ever done that isn't a concept album. But it did get to the point where after Sonder, I remember having some discussions with our course in the background saying, it'd be nice to have a few heavy songs again. Let's see if we can bring some of that fire.
Because you hadn't done much screaming on the past 2 albums before that.
Yeah, exactly, because I stripped my approach back to singing and I started to build the foundations of a strong singing voice because I could never scream very well. But over the past few albums and the past few years, I've been working on my scream, so I was now at a point where I'm like, okay, I can do this quite comfortably now. Maybe we should go heavy again. And so that's kind of why we have a few heavy songs on Worth Being.
Excellent, great. So James, for those people who have never listened to your music, any song, which is the best song to get started with Tesseract?
Well, I think definitely would be something off the new album, because that's where Tesseract is now. And as Jay just whispered in my ear, I guess the song War of Being is probably a great place to start because there's a lot in it. It's kind of got elements of the whole spectrum of sounds, Tesseract. It's a big body of work, so it takes a real journey. It, I guess, probably requires a little bit of effort to listen to. It's not sort of an instant grab track, although there are hooks and instant grab moments. And yeah, I think it's quite representative of where Tesseract is now and also the career from the start.
Excellent, great. That's a very nice song. Actually, I have it in my playlist right now, so that's a good recommendation. So now let's get to some philosophical questions, so to speak. So if djent, prog, and metal were vanished, you're not able to play it anymore. I don't know, because of some magic. Which musical style would you play?
Thrash.
Thrash metal?
Indie, Oasis.
Indie, okay. Like.
No, I'm going to sound like an arrogant person here, but we just sound the same. Because I don't think any of us have gone out and said, we have to sound like these things.
Okay.
So we'd still sound the same.
Excellent. Yeah, that's a very nice answer. And if you couldn't play music anymore, what else do you think you would be doing?
Tesco.
Sorry, what?
If we couldn't play music,
You're stacking shelves.
I'd still want to be doing something creative. It'd be painting or something. There's nothing for me that excites me that's in like a industry world or corporate world or anything like that. The idea of that isn't my life. It'd have to be something creative. Exactly what that is, I'm not sure.
Okay, yeah. So something in the realm of art, at least, right?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
It'd have to be that.
And who is the most interesting person in the world, dead or alive, besides the members of Tesseract?
James Baldwin. So in the 60s, 70s, 80s, he was a human rights, but specifically more like black and gay rights activist.
Okay.
Well, not even activist, just more a poet that had a way of looking at the world that I don't think many people have. His works, his essays are mind-blowing for me personally. They kind of just break me open, allow me to see things from a person's perspective that I've never experienced from any other communicator. So yeah, I think as a human educator, James Baldwin was incredible.
Okay, that's a very interesting answer too. Okay, so now let's play A or B, two concepts, A or B, and you choose one and you tell me why. Okay, first with James. Six strings or more than 6 strings?
Can I say both? It's good to have variety in life. I think if you constantly do everything to a set of rules, then you're quite limited. So I think by having another string or different tunings, or I don't know, just approaching how you use an instrument and then mixing it up always helps inspire new ideas and opens up new kind of avenues. So sorry, I didn't actually answer
The question's A or B?
No, so both is acceptable.
Well, I guess B then, I suppose. 'Cause
Okay, more than 6 is better.
You could only play 6 strings even if you had 8.
Yeah, you should have said or like one string and you could play most tech metal songs.
Yeah. So Jay, War of Being, or Sunder?
War of Being.
War of Being.
Easy. I love both, but there's more challenge for me in the stuff with War of Being, so it's more exciting.
Excellent. Okay, so Akil, London or Milton Cleans?
Milton Cleans. Of course. Yeah, easy. Yeah.
And it's got mini henge.
Yeah, there's a little mini Stonehenge there. Don't need anything else with them.
Is it the one that they used in Spinal Tap? That was good.
Pretty much.
Amos, YouTube or Spotify?
YouTube. Spotify's a piece of shit. No way. I mean, they're both pieces of shit, but yeah.
But one is
if
more.
I've got to choose, definitely YouTube. Yeah.
Okay, and finally, Dan, making music with an average income or being rich in a different industry? Like wealthy, crazy rich. A? Making music in a... Okay. That's the most honest answer, right? Okay, so now, what is the future of your band in terms of musicality, albums, tours? What's coming up in, say, the next 5 years?
A lot more grey hair.
We've got a computer game that's coming out in hopefully a year and a half. So I've been developing the concept of our album, War of Being, as a computer game.
It's a computer game.
Yeah, so the early access is on Steam now, which is called War of Being.
Okay.
And we're working on the full thing, so we're looking forward to having a nice, fully fledged game at the end of 2025.
Okay, and what type of game? Like an adventure game?
It's an adventure role-play game, but it's primarily a VR experience, but we're also giving it desktop playability as well.
Wow, that's so interesting. That mix of concept of music and video games. Okay, so you will be playing next Wednesday, September 4, on Auditorio BB. So what can we expect from that show, and also what do you expect from Mexican fans this Wednesday to happen?
It's the first time playing the new album, isn't it, actually, I think, in Mexico.
Yeah.
True. About it.
True.
We played Natural Disaster the last time we were here.
Did we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. Album,
yeah,
songs
new
from the new record.
Yeah.
And songs from the new record that we're playing as a fivesome like fairly recently, because we've been adding newer songs to the set over the past couple of shows. It's the most interesting set that we've done in a while, because it's kind of been informed from the Radar Festival that we just did, hasn't it? Kind of taken the highlight moments from that and put it into this set, rather than just playing what we played across North America and Europe. There's like a special set that we put together for the fans down here. And what are we expecting from the fans?
High energy.
Energy.
Lots of shouting, lots of chanting,
smiling
the lead lines.
faces.
Always look forward to that.
Yeah, that's always happening in Mexico. I think we're very crazy people, I think, in a positive way. So I hope you have a nice time this Wednesday and also in the rest of the Latin American tour. So finally, any message for your Latin or Hispanic followers?
Thank you for loving what we do.
Thank you.
Thank you for loving the band. It's reciprocated. We love coming here. We love seeing you guys. Playing over here are some of the best shows we've ever had. So we look forward to continuing that with new albums in the future as well. So it only happens if you keep supporting the band.
And the constant messages that come back to here, come to Mexico, come to Brazil, all these messages, it inspires us to keep coming back. So as soon as those messages stop,
don't come
we assume
anymore,
that we've got no
stop.
fans.
Okay, thank you guys. So
Hi, we're Tesseract. I'm James.
I'm Jay.
I'm Apple.
I'm Amos.
I'm Dan, and you're listening to Metropolis.
Metalópolis.
We're not in Metropolis. You're listening to Metalopolis.
great. That's all, guys. Thank you very much for this interview.